Good evening. I, Srishti Agarwal, on behalf of the Learning Preschool and Daycare, welcome you all to this session on how can I boost my child's immunity, myths and facts. Learning Curve are known pioneers of preschool and daycare, having 35 plus centers across Mumbai, Pune and Bangalore. We proudly announce that we are the pioneers of being NEP compliant in the preschool with new ways of curriculum, STEAM, project-based, and experiential learning. We have different ways for holistic development. We also offer a lot of after-school activities across all our centers. In other initiatives, we are organizing different workshops, such as the Corporate Parent Connect, to help parents in their parenting ways. We are honored to introduce our presenter for the day, Dr. Neeta Nathani, who is also our speaker. Dr. Neeta Nathani is a renowned pediatrician in Chembur, Mumbai. She holds an MBBS degree and a MD in pediatrics. She holds an experience of more than 30 years. She's an attending pediatrician at Surya Hospital, Chembur, Zen Hospital, Chembur, and Kolekar Hospital, Chembur. She has her own clinic, Nathani Clinic, which is again based in Chembur. Along with Dr. Neeta, we have Dr. Ankita Bhandari, who is a clinical associate at Nathani Clinic. We welcome Dr. Neeta and Dr. Ankita on behalf of you all. Before we get started, if you have any questions during the presentation, we request you to please type them in the chat box. We request the participants to keep their video on and be on mute for the presentation time.
Didi, 2 seconds. 1 second.
We also have questions at the end. Without further ado, we will turn the time over to Dr. Neeta Nathani.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Srishti, thanks for the warm introduction. And we thank Team Learning Curve to give us this opportunity to touch upon this important topic. So, as Srishti has already introduced, I have Dr. Ankita with me, and we are working together at Nathani Clinic. And we will try to solve all the myths and facts regarding the immune boosters. So maybe, yeah, we can start now. And at the end, we are having a poll, right, to make the session more interactive. So after initial few introductory slides, we will be turning on to the FAQs. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, very good evening to all of you. Shrishti, thank you. Thank you, Neeta ma'am, for the introduction. So let us begin. We'll share a small presentation with you.
Are we audible? Shrishti, is everything okay? Are we audible?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yeah.
And is the presentation visible to everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So let us begin. So we'll start, ma'am, with a few questions.
Sure.
Okay. So generally when we are consulting in the clinic, you are consulting in the clinic, we always come across parents, coming up with questions like, why does my child get fever so often? Why does my child keep falling sick so often? Is there something that we can do about it? Or can we supplement something for the same? So just to get you acquainted with the kind of questions that we face, we'll share a small video.
Oh, so you have recorded this, ladies. Yeah. Play this.
But nothing cold, nothing khatta, nothing as such कि मैं बोलूँ कि बच्चा उल्टा सीधा खा रहा है या कुछ है. तो आपके बच्चे को पिछले महीने में भी सर्दी खांसी बुखार होता है ना, ये समय में भी सर्दी खांसी बुखार है, राइट? और आप और मैम इसकी इम्यूनिटी में कैसे बूस्ट होती है फॉर रीअकरेंस नहीं, how to increase her immunity कि ये दोबारा recurrence.
Yeah, watch this few minutes, just before This is
Okay.
a beautiful.
I'm so happy. Actually, Ankita recorded this, and we had this grandmother yesterday itself. So you are actually having a real time case. So this time, like the mother has been coming to us, this time grandmother says, no, nothing doing. Let me go and talk to the doctor. So we see this common scenario in the clinic, and mostly 80 to 90% of them, they ask us the same questions. So if you see Ankita and viewers, like this kind of presentation is occurring, especially when the child is joining the play school or in the first few years of schooling. And parents often find that the child is having cough, cold, recurrent, and many a times accompanied by fever. So they ask us this question, what can be done? Why? And I mean, they are very desperate to get this problem solved once and for all. So before we go to the thing, let us understand what does this word immunity means. So immunity actually is the body's defense mechanism. And I compare it to the army which the body has. How if some foreign invaders are coming and we have our army to protect ourselves from them. So similarly, we are all the time surrounded by microbes. They could be viruses, fungi, bacteria, and day in, day out, they are ready to attack us. So this body's defense mechanism is there. It protects us from the invaders and from them and saves us from them to spread the disease. So now let us understand that where does it comes from? So this immunity is actually, it has got two parts. One is the innate immunity and second is the acquired. Innate is that part of immunity with which we are born with. It is mainly depending upon the genetic makeup of the child. And acquired immunity is the one which we develop, which the body develops because of the frequent encounters, recurrent encounters with the organisms. Can I have the next slide? So now the question comes. Yeah. Yeah, your question.
Yeah. So can the immunity be strengthened in any way, ma'am? Is it
So
possible?
boosting, you're talking about the immune boosters?
Yeah. Can we supplement it from outside and can we give something to build the child's immunity?
So as we said, it has two parts. Innate, that is what the child is born with, and other part is the acquired immunity. So we are basically concentrating on this acquired immunity. So actually speaking, this acquired immunity cannot be actually, like if you talk to me about this child does a lot of mischief. Can you make something like the child get disciplined? No, this is an ongoing process because immune system, it consists of WBC, it consists of many organs, cells. They have to work in coordination, and this system develops over a period of time. So actually speaking, there is no quick fix where you can buy something or you can give something and the immunity develops.
So we cannot give something. Is there any way where we can strengthen it or we can make it stronger?
That's a wonderful question. So immunity can be strengthened. Yes, I agree. So there are some 5 pillars on which we can work on, and we can give the child a good immunity by improving the overall health of the child. So first, which we come and which we keep on hearing. So let us find out in what way. Eating healthy. Anytime you go to the doctor or even the media and all, they talk about eating healthy. But what does this eating healthy means? So eating healthy, because I have seen the parents who have logged in, they are from all the age groups. So let us in brief quickly talk about eating healthy. What does it means to a baby which is like 0 to 6 months of age? So for him, breast milk and exclusive breast milk is going to provide healthy eating habits. That is what is called. And breast milk, as we all know, is a rich source of immunoglobulins. Right. So this is for the 0 to 6 months. Then we come from 6 months to like 12 months or a toddler group. So at around 6 months of age, one has to be very judiciously starting the complementary feeding. So a person has to have knowledge of how to start the complementary feeding. In fact, this is like in earlier days, it used to happen, it used to come by itself. There were no set guidelines. But these days, there are ways, there are methods in which we can work on it. So, in fact, in our clinic, if you see, we regularly have sessions on teaching the parents how to, like, what to introduce, how much to give, when to give. So, these are the facts which a parent has to learn. Then we come to the infant and the toddler age group. So, even to them, Ankita, we have that plate. Yes. Yeah. So talking to them about carbohydrates, fats, vitamins is futile.
Right.
So the concept which we can give and the plate which you can give, which you can see on screen is this, right? So this we keep in clinic. We talk to them that it is futile to talk to them about the big terms, but then you should ask them to make, or the mother to show them that the plate has to be colorful. Of course, not with the artificial colors, right? And half of your plate should be with the vegetables. And as you can see half the plate should be filled with vegetables and fruits. And then remaining half with the cereal and the proteins, and that too in a fixed proportion. So and then we talk about the this is about balancing the plate and giving that in a right mix. Then we talk about that there is nothing which is called as superfood. There is no need to buy something very extraordinary or something which is very expensive. It is the home thing, homemade things, home cooked food, which if it is given in right proportion is good enough for the healthy eating habits.
So basically,
Anything
right
else?
mix is the right word for
Right
what you're
mix
trying
is the key word for eating healthy. And at least one meal a day, which should be eaten together as a family.
So that is what we ensure, like ma'am said. So this plate, it plays such an important role in our clinic. We always make sure that anytime any parent comes for vaccinations, for routine follow-ups. So we always ask them, we always ensure that this
Are you
thing is
following?
followed.
Yeah. And just to give you like this is our Indian format. This has been there with me for last 30 years.
I would like to say one thing. I am maybe more than 30 years old, but I'm still eating in this plate only when I go to my mom's house. So both me and my sister, since when we were young, we have been eating in the same plate.
Okay. So second comes regular exercise. So when it comes to regular exercise, so I come across parents like, oh yes, doctor, we have enrolled them into a tennis class. We have enrolled them, followed by that he goes for cricket coaching. Yes, everything is all right. I would suggest that is a structured thing. And that could be probably done in moderation. Here we are putting more emphasis on, you should always give the child some time for free play. You remember in good old days how we used to get along the building with the building children or with the society children, and we used to scream, we used to play games like you can see this hopscotch, or
we used to play kho, we used to play.
So those kind of thing where you really come out, you interact with your peers. And there are so many things besides playing together. Of course, the sunlight, the fresh air. Besides this, you learn a lot about interpersonal relationship, how to handle other kids. Otherwise, if you are keeping them away and keeping them all in structured activities, children do not get to learn all these things.
So gym should not be, so we should not force our children.
Because these days they come up with the baby gym. And see, these are all marketing things. They are playing with the parents' side. So what is the point of starting gymming at this early stage? So we learned about healthy eating. We have seen the role of exercise in building up immunity. The third and the most important thing comes sleep. So it's not the resting hours we are talking about. We are talking about the quality of the sleep. The REM sleep is something which is known as, which gives rise to, and whenever we are sick also, doctor asks us to take rest. Why does he or she
So why
ask
is
us?
why is it important? Why is it important that we don't send the child to school? Why do we tell them let them not go to school for a day or two?
Yeah, so they get adequate rest, and this we are talking about the good night sleep, right? So when you are into your REM sleeps, so your cytokines increases, your T cells activities increases, your when your brain is resting, body is resting, the immune responses they build up.
I want to.
Yeah.
So my baby is not sleeping early in the night. So how I show him a small video, or I play a nursery rhyme, or I show a cartoon to him before sleeping. Will that help?
That is actually no, you are kind of stimulating a lot. So at the time when you want the brain to come to a pace, like a calmer pace, at the same time, if you are showing too many stimulating videos, that doesn't help. So maybe for a good quality sleep, you can follow the 4 Bs, which we tell it to our parents.
Yeah.
So tell us about the 4 Bs.
So the 4 Bs are bathing, book,
Brushing.
then books
putting.
before bed, books, and then putting the baby to sleep. So bathing will help increase the circulation in the body, and that will further help the baby body to relax, and then put the baby into a light sleepy mode. Brushing is important, so bathing and brushing go together. So when you finish brushing, you finish bathing, then you may try to read a small story during the bedtime. You can tell them about the fairy tales that are there. That way they get a learning experience also, and they become used to this pattern also, and then they know, okay, when we're hearing a story, this is the time when we are going to go
So
to
you
bed.
are kind of setting the mind into that mode. It need not be a high rocket science story or something. And that is the time actually when the baby opens up also. So that is the next point, right? So that way, when we are calming down the baby, so we are reducing a lot of stress also.
Right.
So yeah. And while brushing, bathing, at the same time, we are taking care of the hygiene. So that becomes our next pillar. Then we are asking parents to put COVID days. Yes, we were telling a lot about hand washing. So I don't know, have we put a video on this? So hand washing technique, Ankita, if you could demonstrate. So you can actually, there are charts available on the internet. So I mean the particular hand movements, if you could show them.
So we advise these 6 steps of hand washing. With the ideally once when we begin hand washing, it should last for about a minute. So we rub our palms, palm to palm, then back of our hands, then back of our fingers, both sides, then the thumbs. So you have to clean the inner area up to the thumb. Then you have to clean your fingertips, which goes like this. And then you clean down to the elbow. So each step has to be repeated 5 times. It should be 20 seconds for each step. So that way, before, after play, after handling any pets, after toilet, eating food, going to bed, all these places we are supposed to.
Another important point, nowadays hand sanitizers are placed everywhere. So we must know, parents, that hand sanitizers are to be, they are alcohol based, there are chemicals. So hand sanitizer are this, please put it, please make a note of it as much as possible. If hand washing facilities are available, always make use of that, right? And you can put actually a chart in front of the this wash basin. Second thing, to inculcate this, you can bring some nice fancy soaps, different color of different shapes soaps are available. Of course, teaching the coughing etiquettes is very important. And another important thing which parents should follow. See, if your child is sick, post-COVID, in general, there is a lot of liberty. No schools are emphasizing that you should be sending the child to school. So, if your child is sick, you should keep the child at home. That's very important message, because the infection spreads like in a chain reaction, and you have to break the chain. Next, if I could have. We have spoken to you about stress. So even these small children, they have their kind of stressors. They have fought with somebody, or the teacher has said something. So, so how do you reduce the stress? As we said, communication is an important thing. Spending time with the child is important. We also talk about reducing stress at bedtime. So we said, let them open up whatever comes to their mind.
So sleeping time is a good time where you can talk, form a bond. They can tell you about their troubles, anything which is bothering them.
And at the same time, maybe you should also at times take their opinion or share your problems. Yeah. Yeah.
So how important would you say is, like in this era, we have seen there's a lot of exposure to a lot of addictions like alcohol, smoking, sometimes even drugs. So how would you tackle this? How would you advise the parents to go about
See,
it?
this stage doesn't come all of a sudden. The seeds are sown right from the beginning. If you have a good rapport with your child, you allow the child to communicate, express what are the fears. So then probably they won't go to this. And if at all you find some early sign, because it itself is a big chapter, so you should seek the medical help early.
Okay.
Come on the very important topic of vaccinations. Why do we emphasize so much on vaccinations, and why it is so important that our children be vaccinated?
So vaccination is another way to generate immunity. What is happening in vaccination? Let us understand that while we are vaccinating a child, so we are introducing a muted or attenuated organism. Attenuated or muted means a weakened organism in the body, or its weakened organism or its parts. So what happens? That's kind of a mock drill for the body. A mock drill for the body and its immunity. So this is how immunity works, because that senses, this is how we say that child develops immunity, because when the encounter happens, so the body cells, the WBC series, the lymphocyte series, they are activated and they come and fight with that organism. And at the same time, some memory cells are put there in the body. So next time, even the pathogen comes or the disease producing thing comes, so the body is immediately able to bring those things out and they tackle with the organism.
So basically, we're priming the body to
We are
be
priming
ready
the body.
for if they are facing any of those infections. So the body is ready.
Ready.
Okay.
So like if you see the cases of chickenpox, they have reduced, because once you introduce the muted virus in the body, so when actual chickenpox comes, the body's antibodies are already there.
So we have tackled the 5 pillars, as ma'am has previously emphasized, which are important in strengthening or building up the immunity, or more so acting on the acquired immunity. Now let's run through some myths and facts which generally parents or all of anybody they tend to come across.
Because advices, they come from everywhere when the child is sick. So I mean, right from the maid to like everyone in the family, the neighbors, the grandmother, and all distant aunts and all, they come out with a different suggestion. And at the end of it, the poor mother or father, they are confused. Give this, do not give that. Like the video which we have shown in the beginning, right? So they said, we have stopped all khatta food. We have stopped, we do not give peru to the child. We do not give kela to the child. So the child is like being reared up with so many restrictions. Oh, do not keep this, do not take that, you'll fall sick again. So we have tried to put up some questions, and Shrishti, is our polling on? Hi, hello, Shrishti.
Ma'am, you were going to run the poll, right? True and
Yeah,
false
yeah.
as in questions. You can run that.
Yeah. Question.
Okay. So first question is, can fruits and vegetables keep your child's immune system strong? So would you like the parents to answer or
Is there a polling button there?
So the parents,
In the chat box,
the-
maybe?
yes, I think let's do.
yeah, so if
Chat
you
box. Is there a way we can see? So actually, all of you get 100% marks on this.
Right.
So fruits and vegetables, of course, they are a powerhouse of vitamins, minerals, and micronutrients. Again, while we were running through the healthy eating habits, we said half the plate should be with fruits and vegetables. And here the important point is, which we will emphasize again, that do not run after exotic fruits, do not search for things which are not available or which are out of the season. Always look for the fruits or vegetables which are seasonal and which are natively grown, and which are, of course, locally available. So we say, because natively grown, the things which we have imported from outside, so just think they have been put into the cold storage, a lot of nutrient value, they are not fresh.
Yeah.
And secondly, of course, the expense factor goes down. Your child has been grown seeing those things that is being eaten by the everyone in the family. So oral acceptance of those fruits will be more. And while I was just running through while preparing this, so I didn't find any fruit which has got more calcium content than our humble sitapal. Even that Peru, guava, highest vitamin C levels. So, I mean, we are things which are in our backyard, go towards them. And of course, we should be helping our farmers. That's
not the
really
pharma
not the
companies.
farmers. So,
So it is better to spend money on the locally grown available things rather than going after the boosters
and
or the
asking,
exotic
asking doctors to write vitamin
supplements.
supplements. Okay.
So running on that lines only. The next question is, do kids need supplements to boost immunity? If all of the parents, if they can answer.
This is the commonest thing, huh? You all must now, after this talk, let us have. So we have created a wise audience, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So our question is, do they need supplement? And now you all must promise that you will not be asking.
At your next visit, you will not ask this question.
Again, there are some features. If you put up that slide, if it is possible. So India's budget in the year 21-22 on immune boosters, the figures are whooping figures. It is 15,000 crores. If you really ask me, I won't even know how many zeros I should be putting. And this is something which is kind of insane. And it is expected that by the year 2026, it is going to be some 300 crores, 300,000 crores. So, I mean, that is really futile.
But
Let it. We can come back to the current part. Right? And we have learned that how futile is this. So they come to, I mean, and of course the companies, they are coming to us. If I could take out this, that haldi one. So since these were readily available, look at these parents, and I keep it in a drawer next to my table. So this is called as like Bruddhi. So it is haldi capsules, which are costing you 10 rupees a capsule. So what is there? So we have haldi. So all these things which are locally available and they are known to produce immunity. Haldi is in each house. Garlic, ginger, cloves. There are companies. I mean, these, if you go to a supermarket, or even forget that supermarket, you go to the medical shop next door.
And you ask them, so they will immediately come with a bottle of gummies.
So these are like gummies which are available. These are the chocolates which are expensive chocolates. And if you read the contents, they are just low dose, some multivitamin, and you do not even know how much is helpful. So parents, please do not spend your hard-earned money on these gimmicks. And as we have learned that pay more emphasis by your spend your resources on useful things.
So basically, these supplements will interfere with developing the body, developing
So
naturally.
kind of giving ready-made stuff, and who would like to work when ready-made things are? So see, your body, when a proper nutrition is given, so your body learns to extract those vitamins, minerals from the food, right? And when you are giving ready-made things, the body never learn. And most important, they won't know. So overdosing is very common. So, and when you want a particular nutrition to work in a proper manner, say B complex, right? So it should have proper amount of folic acid. So if you destroy or play with the natural balancing system, so actually jo kaam karta rehta hai, those things also are not working.
So ma'am, at this point, I would like to ask, are there any exceptions where you can give supplements?
Of course. So say suppose now when a child come to the clinic and you find definitely some deficiency signs, so there you need to supplement. Of course, supplements are required at the extreme of age. Now it is a proven thing, even WHO's endorsed that we give vitamin D supplements as soon as the baby born till 1 year of age. So those are the things where we need to give supplements. Randomly taking some 7 C's oil, or I mean, as I showed you, I give one gum every day, right? So I mean, these things probably are to be discouraged.
Let's move on to the next question. So this, as we told, better to help our local farmers rather than helping the pharma companies who are just marketing and making you spend money on the things which
and national budget going this side.
Next question.
Oh, this is again a very sensitive topic. Yeah.
So sometimes, parents or the patients that they come to us, they feel ki if we are vegetarians, a lot of our communities are purely vegetarian communities. So they feel ki since we are just taking vegetarian food and not giving non-vegetarian food to our bachus, so that is why it is hampering them and they are, not deriving as much nutrition as compared to the non-veg population. So is that true?
This question is always like, because these days inter-religion weddings are taking place. So some families, like they are eating non-veg and the new girl who comes in is not wanting. So then the mother-in-law or the in-laws, they come and say, because she's not giving. So this is a common cause of death in the families, and children are brought. And in fact, the parents, they always ask us, I have never touched it, but then somehow in my room, I make some boiled egg and things like that, right? So actually, it's not true. We have seen this is our polling thing before actually they started. Yeah. So this is false. Even it's not necessary that you need to give non-vegetarian food. You can look for things like, mostly say we take example of non-vegetarian food for the high protein content. But equal vegetarian things are available. Like you can sprout vegetables, grams like
the green
kardan, right? For iron, you can start cooking in iron kadai. So these are small things which you can pay attention. Fermenting itself increases a lot of nutritive value, all our idli dosas. So you can concentrate on that. Next question.
So will milk additives help? Like for example, we are putting Bonvita, we're using Horlicks, 1 glass. So when I was young, my mom also gave me 1 glass of Bonvita. We have to take. So is that helping in any way?
Let's see what the
parents
poll says. Very nice. Not even. So milk additives, and slowly have you not seen those things are vanishing from the which used to be a every household
had one
thing.
dabba.
If you remember, even the restaurants and all, they used to have a menu.
That, yeah.
So milk additives, these things actually, they are, if you read, so another important message here I want to give is read the labels, learn to read the labels.
And that applies to all the things that
For everything. So they have high sugar content and high chocolate content. How it is going to increase the immunity, God knows. I think besides making a child, these additives are making the child addictive to sugar, chocolate,
and suddenly boosting the
immunity. No.
Not boosting the immunity, but the energy level, and then suddenly the child feels
Hyperactive.
hyperactive, and then low on
Yeah, that's very correct point, because there is a sudden surge of sugar and child, I mean, kind of get used to remain in that high level of sugar in the body. So, and see, at the same time, we said India is a capital of malnutrition, and India surpasses every other country in obesity also. So these milk additives are not good, but at the same time, there are some additives which are scientifically designed, which we do prescribe at times when the child is having some convalescence period, or we find that the child requires to be given up to catch up the growth. Growth faltering is there. So in that case, but then they are commercially and scientifically designed.
And always on advice of the doctor.
Always on the advice of the doctor, what kind of product and for how long it is to be given. And secondly, if you see all these commercially available things, so again, as I said, read the labels. Nothing is to be added before 2 years of age.
As ma'am has told us, these are all marketing tactics. Sugar content is very high. They're very addictive. They cause a temporary surge in sugar levels, and it is very contradictory to the fact where we say no sugar, no salt. So they don't help in any way in boosting the immunity, and the cons would be more than the. So thank you everyone, and I appreciate all the parents so actively participating in all the polls and giving prompt answers. Thank you, Shrishti.
Thank you, Dr. Neeta and Dr. Ankita, for such valuable information. Now the forum is open for questions through the chat box, which we will answer one by one. So we have the first question, which says, my 3-year-old baby does not eat or touch fruits. We give shakes to her, but as she's always down with cold and cough, can we give these during cold and cough as well, during afternoon time?
Ankita, would you like to take this up?
So, first of all, we don't advise giving fruits or vegetables or fruits in the form of shakes, because it reduces the nutritive value when you convert it into a shake or a liquid form. So, but who's eating the if at all you have to introduce shakes, maybe in the beginning just to get used to it, then it should not be continued. Also, the cold and cough, there is no relation to giving the shakes during cold or not.
So the commonest fruit, which is the culprit most of the time, is banana. Okay. So, I mean, I have gone through and read the literature about it. So, I mean, nothing has been found, but they said there are certain factors which may increase. So, if you find that after giving banana or X fruit to your child, the cold incidences increases. So maybe there are equivalent amount of different other foods, because at the same time creating something in the house or even in the family that I want to give only. So that creates a lot of a point where people are of different opinion. So I mean, that's what the advice which I give it to them, that if family is against so much about it, so you could probably give something else. And fruit, as you said, it doesn't touch, so you have to kind of bring thing in a different format. So they are very happy when they go out, they nicely eat those faluda kind of thing.
Right.
So you can present the fruit in a different
Different way.
form, different way. You can make custard out of it. So
That's a good
this is,
idea.
yeah. Second,
Next question.
Next question.
you can read.
This vaccine goes
Yeah.
to the government hospital, only those should be given to children, or the one that is given in private hospital also can be given?
Okay, so see, answer to this is like government of India is one of the government. Even during COVID time, we have seen we have got a robust immunization policy. But there are certain vaccines which are advisable, which are available, and which the government cannot afford to give, or government says it cannot afford to give. So that is like a parent decision. Say the vaccine against chickenpox is not available in the government setup. So and government says it's not going to cost the, I mean, it will not increase the mortality kind of thing. But would you like your child to suffer from chickenpox ever? And you do not even know that the chickenpox thing, if at all, has to occur. See, chickenpox is a highly preventable disease. We are taking example of chickenpox, right? So it's a highly preventable disease with the vaccines. And do you want your, first of all, child to suffer from chickenpox? The answer is no. And you are not even sure that it will come during childhood.
It can come anytime.
It can come anytime. So I had one child, in fact, like this was say 30 years back, when the vaccine, 35 years back, when the vaccine was just introduced. So I mean, a colleague of mine, a doctor, they said, no, we don't want to give chickenpox. And I mean, everybody forgot about it. And this child got chickenpox when he was appearing for his 10th board. So, and I mean, this is a fact. So that's up to you. There are certain times, like when like monetary things are there, you're just not able to give. So maybe at that time, but vaccine, whatever are available, should be given, whether they are, if they are available in government setup and you are comfortable going there, you can do that. Next.
Yellow
And
substance.
Give homemade
Oh,
plain
so yellow supplement, I have showed you many things which are available since we are conducting this session from the clinic, and there were things. So this is not something which I'm promoting. We are asking you to refrain from these things.
Yeah.
So and these are some healthy things. If you really want to give this yellow supplement, I suggest you take 1/4 chammach of haldi and add few drops of honey to it, and your supplement will be ready. And you can start marketing it.
So we have the next question, which says, if a child has cough, does removing sour items from the diet really help?
In fact, let us reach like this: cough and cold, right? To increase the immunity, we say take vitamin C. So, and again,
Exactly.
as
So
we say,
basically, that is the answer which is very nicely answered in short.
So,
no,
go ahead. So again, we do not want any conflicts at home or at any setup. So if some senior people are emphasizing that you should not be giving, so do not say Dr. Nathani, Dr. Ankita said you have to give some imli and lemon. So see, it's a very delicate balance and you have to handle things diplomatically. Giving lemon, I mean, lemon is the biggest source of vitamin C. And you can play, there are so many things, no? If the seniors are saying note about it, it's not that you are, so you can, I mean, probably give it, squeeze lemon, who is going to come to know? And but if there is a strong opposition, just do not give for few days.
So we have a question which says, can we give homemade multigrain powder with milk as a shake to the child?
That is what we are encouraging.
Yeah. So that is actually a very good idea. So this, depending upon the multigrains that are being used, anything which you make at home, which is preservative free, which is mostly nutritious only, it is okay to give.
100%. And these, so till 1 year of age, like many people, they make some badam, akroot and kaju ka powder and add it to the cereal. So probably the advice is against it. Like even if it is in a powder form, the system is not mature to take the nuts. So though less in India, but nut allergies or tree nut allergies are more common. So probably that could be avoided till 1 year of age.
Next question, ma'am. Till what age we should continue breastfeeding? My child is 2.5 years old and is still breastfeeding.
Okay. You want to take up this?
So exclusive breastfeeding is advised till 6 months of age, and then our textbook or WHO says till 2 years of age. So that is the time period which has been specified. But after that or even prior, depending, so if the more your child is dependent on breastfeeding, there is less acceptability to the foods, there is less acceptability to eating solid foods, and then the nutritional value also declines. So your baby is probably not deriving as much nutrition as compared to a child who has been totally eating solid foods, from the family pot, whatever the family is eating.
Yeah,
Right?
so probably I would also like to add something. See, you want the child to become a family member and join the family pot as early as possible. So let me just miss what I think, why this breastfeeding has been continuing. So this is actually till 2.5 years of age, you are not producing milk to satiate the baby. So at 2.5 years of age, if the baby is feeding, what is happening is what is called as comfort feeding. So let us see the advantages, quickly see the advantages and disadvantages. The most big advantage, which I find with the mothers working in the clinic, that mother themselves don't want the baby to delatch from the breast milk because they are working throughout in the offices and all. So when they come, so they baby's point of view, it's a comfort feeding, and for mother's point of view, it's a connect feeding. When the baby feeds, that the mother feels that the baby has been away from the thing. But then the flip side of it is like the baby takes the milk will keep on coming till the time you are feeding, right? Whatever amount. So the milk remains inside the mouth. So it's a high nidus for developing the bacteria. So you see a lot of children with caries. And on top of it, I tell the mothers, then don't you want a peaceful sleep? For 9 months, you have been carrying the baby, and for 2.5 months also, you want to feed the baby. And suppose the next one comes. So, I mean, you have some life of your own also. Right. It's a disturbed sleep. To maintain a sanity, at some point, you need a 7 to 8 hours undisturbed sleep. But then the final decision is like Mia Bibi Raji types. Okay, so this is what we say.
Next question, ma'am. Sometimes in rainy season, my daughter is coughing only at the night and rest of the day she's fine. Any suggestions on that?
No suggestions. It requires evaluation.
Okay. Next question. How important is sleep in supporting a child's immune health?
We did that.
Yeah, so in the presentation, we have specified on the importance of good quality sleep and adequate sleep at the same time. So yeah, it is very important that your child. Also, we had a point where ma'am has told ki during the time where a child is sick or illness, we always tell the baby should be resting or baby should not be going to school and staying at home, basically sleeping and recovering. So it is important that your child has good quality, adequate sleep without screens to develop a good immune system.
So it is not just the duration of sleep.
Yeah.
We have highlighted the importance of good quality
Quality.
sleep.
Next question. What was the name of the table you just showed?
Which tip?
Tablet, you mean? Is it
Tablet. Tablet which you had just shown.
I am certainly not going to give you this because I have just kept it to show that not to be used.
It's something which should not be used.
What are the red flags or symptoms that parents should be aware of indicating a potential compromise in the child's immune system?
This is something like we always say immunity automatically comes, but at the same time, parents should be aware of the red flags. So let me just point out. So whenever you are going to doctor's clinic for every health visit, make sure, of course, doctors are doing, but यहाँ पे अपना growth chart भी होगा है, so that your child's parameters are measured इस तरफ इधर growth chart class में, and they are plotted on the growth chart. So faltering of the growth. Your child is falling sick very often and requiring hospitalization. If your child is, as I said, when, okay, let me finish this. So if your child, these are the growth charts, ask your doctors always to fill it up. They are different for boys, girls, different age groups. So these are the visuals which makes you yourself realize how the child is growing. So if you see too much of faltering of the growth, that is an indicator. If your child is falling sick very often, requiring hospitalization, cough cold common, cough cold normal, the green signal is even after having cough cold fever, the child is running around. In between the spike, the child is fine. When in between two fever episodes, the child is growing well.
Basically, so there is a recovery.
There is a recovery. While in these cases, which are the red flags, the child is not well in between the fever episodes. If the child has been having recurrent ear discharge, so that is again a sign where recurrent pneumonias, we said recurrent otitis media. So these are the things where you need to go to, of course, you're going to your doctor. So when you say like every fever, you should not be taking very lightly, oh, doctor said ye to aayenge hi. So doctor evaluates whenever the child comes, doctor evaluates and see whether they are to be kept in the green basket, yellow basket, or red basket.
Okay. Next question, ma'am. My baby is taking cow milk in a day, approximately 1 liter. The age is 4 years. In a day, how much can they consume for a better growth?
So suppose we start talking about this question, it will take us another hour. Okay. So at 4 years of age, why should a child be consuming
at all?
Up to 1 liter? So this kind of milk, say as an adult, like the mother who has asked me this question, if she drinks 1 liter of milk a day, So, I mean, let us see how much other food she is going to eat. So that way you are just putting protein.
and how is she been progressing and the general health of the baby.
This cannot be answered.
Okay. How many hours of sleep does a child need?
For 3 to 4 hours of a vacant state. An infant, like around 1 to 2 years, we expect around 12 hours of sleep. A little toddler and preschoolers around 8 to 10 hours of sleep. So this is how it progresses.
Okay. Could you please guide us for the weight gain? We tried so many things, but the weight is not increasing gradually.
Needs evaluation because sometimes हर माँ को बच्चा दुबला लगता है, right? Even if my mother sees now, so the first question is you pull down. Okay, so as I said, these are the passport, these are the report cards. Emphasize your doctor to fill them up. And sometimes the anxiety is just like that. Nice chubby babies, right? And the parents or the grandmothers, grandfather, no, is not doing well. When, like grandmother says, when my son was of this age, right? He was double the size. But then quietly I say, madam, that was abnormal. This one is okay.
Next question, is frequently using of antibiotics reduce immunity?
So yeah, in a way, it does, like we said, when we are supplementing anything from outside, which is not helping the body develop its own immunity, the antibiotics are working in a similar way. So the antibiotics are providing the white cells, whatever the antibodies basically are the things which fight against the infection. So when you're supplementing it from outside, your body's natural antibodies are not forming, and then they're not developing, they're not getting strong enough to fight the infections. They're always dependent on the antibiotics to fight the infections for them.
Another thing, antibiotics are against bacterial infections. You do not know which infection is bacterial, which is viral, which is parasitic. So randomly last time आपने antibiotic दिया था, so we have started. This is not a correct technique because we see again our India is prime for antibiotic resistance. Why? There's nothing in the Western world. You cannot buy a single antibiotic over the counter without prescription. While it has been rampantly happening, parents are giving antibiotic which is not required, and you are creating a lot of antibiotic resistance,
which is a very big problem.
Yeah, when it is really required, then nothing works. I think we are done. Shrishti, now I have a case to attend.
Okay.
Can we take up the questions, like if you could pass on the questions, and Dr. Ankita and me, we find out a way where we can answer it later?
So, ma'am, what we can do is I'll be sending the feedback forms to all the parents. Okay. So they can put in their questions there, and then whichever number and email ID they send to us as a contact, we can always pass it on to you, and then you and Ankita ma'am can collectively send them the answers for the same.
So it was a wonderful session. We enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I think we take your leave now. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. Team Learning Curve, parents, everybody who have joined us. We enjoyed it a lot. Chalo.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you all.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.